So hello everyone and welcome back to the second part of my PU tournament. Keep in mind that this is the semi-finals, so I'm probably not playing a very bad person. With that information, we'll just jump in the battle. I'll lead off with Behem because I predicted nothing really, but I just tend to lead with Behem a lot. He goes into Whiscash. The only Whiscash I've ever seen is a Dragon Dancing Whiscash, and I figured, well, let's just go Energy Ball and see what he does. But Analytic Energy Ball does a whole lot of damage to Camerupt, and he doesn't want to already let it die, but I do not want a lot of damage on this Behem. So I switch into Mantine and go for an Air Slash. Actually ends up flinching to Tropius, so I'm not sure whether that mattered a whole lot, as you'll see later on in the match. But I figured it would be a Citrus Berry variant, so there was no point in going for another Air Slash, and so I went for Toxic, and it ended up working out because he went into Dusknoir. And this is a weird Dusknoir set. This Dusknoir is Elemental Punches. I've never seen that before. I don't think it works all that well. Maybe in PU it does. It has a decent attack stat, but it's not really that good, to be honest. But Swallow does what it does, and it's slowly withering down this Dusknoir until it dies. So now you can finally see what Swallow does, but I do not want to stay in against this Bastiodon, and this Bastiodon is an odd set as well. It goes for Curse, and Bastiodon has insane defenses, so if this is max special defense with Metal Burst, that would be actually very, very dangerous. So I know he wants to go for Metal Burst again, or set up another Curse, or whatever he wants to do, but I just thus decide to switch to Flareon, because Flareon has the 4 times super effective superpower, which is Guts boosted, and I highly doubt that crit mattered. Like, absolutely sure that crit did not matter in the slightest. So Bastiodon is gone, and he goes into Whiscash, and I felt fairly safe going into Tangela because I remembered the only Whiscash I've ever seen is a Dragon Dance variant, so I figured this thing would be physical. I did check whether it learned Ice Beam or not, and it does learn Ice Beam, but I wasn't really afraid of this thing having Ice Beam. And if it had, Tangela could probably live one, and then I could just switch into Mantine, because his 2 main stabs do not even affect my Mantine at all. He goes into Volbeat. I figured this guy would probably just be annoying. That's what all Volbeats do, and just set up Tail Glow and then Baton Pass. But looking at his team, he doesn't really have anything to Baton Pass into, so he goes into Tropius, and that's fine. I just go for Toxic and try and slowly wither this thing down, as Swallow loves to do that. But Swallow actually ends up outspeeding Tropius, and he ends up going for a Sunny Day. He claimed that was a misclick. I'm not really sure whether that was, but this guy is just having either an awful match, or his opponents, which he had in the previous 2 rounds, were even more awful than him. Now he goes for another Tail Glow, and I'm really wondering, like, what do you want to pass a Tail Glow into? Because I've seen your Whiscash is physical, and your Camerupt is almost dead, so there is absolutely no point. But Infestation apparently goes with the Baton Pass, so I end up going for Toxic, predicting a switch, a Baton Pass right there, and as we can see, Infestation ends up working, so the Camerupt ends up dying, and now his last 2 remaining Pokemon are Whiscash, which completely got walled by Tangela and Mantine, and he has a non-attacking Volbeat. So this ends up being a 6-0 in my favor in the semi-finals. I was actually pretty proud of that, because I figured, well, there could not be this bad in the semi-finals, right? So that's what I figured, that's what I had hoped, actually. But this guy is talking in the chat right now. Maybe if I get 6 crits I win. I said you need at least like 5 or 6 crits to kill Tangela. I was seeing regarding that damage he needed like 12 or 13 crits just to kill Tangela, not even taking into account the damage I get back from the Giga Drain every single turn. But I end up 6-0ing this guy, which is really fortunate for me. But so that was really sad attempt. Nevertheless, good game, Coke and Mentos, and with that last game being the semi-finals can only mean one thing: I am in the finals right now. So I thought again that he would lead off with the Piloswine, but he doesn't. But this time I'm going to stay in with Behem, and I am actually just going to Psyshock, and that's going to do a whole lot to his mages. Now I figured he probably knows some specs, so he's going to switch in Sneasel, right? So I switch in Swallow, but he ends up going for Shadow Ball with his mages, and he actually just decided to fodder this thing. This Miss Mages appears to be an anti-lead, but I figured Infestation would kill or would trap anything regardless. But no, that does not end up working in my favor, so I have to go for Sludge Wave and kill this Miss Mages. So Swallow is getting a lot of damage for no reason at all, but he goes into the Butterfree. I'm not really sure why he would go into Butterfree, because I think he had better options against this Pokemon. But I go for Sludge Wave. I end up getting the Poison, which is fairly lucky, and I go for Infestation, and Swallow can do what Swallow does best, wither Pokemon down. I have Pain Split on this thing, and I don't think I've ever used it. So maybe Protect would be better on Swallow, but that would make it like really stally, and I'm not a very stally player. But he gets withered down by the Sludge Wave, by the Poison, by, well, everything except for Infestation, because I died. But now I go into Flareon, predicting a Sleep Powder. I actually end up going for Sleep Talk, and I was very proud of this play. The entire chat was, since it was the finals, there were a lot of people in the chat, and everyone was going out of their minds. Me predicting the Sleep Powder and going for Sleep Talk. But I end up going to Mantine because I figured the switch into Tangela was that obvious that he probably wanted to go Fire Blast or Ice Beam, which Tauros can learn and sometimes carries, so that's why I went into Mantine. If he would have gone for the Rock Climb, then, or Double Edge Return, whatever, it would have ended up very badly for Mantine. But now he's gonna set up hazards in my face. I don't really care. I don't even care about the hazards in general. I just want this thing dead. I could have defogged on a last turn, but that would not have mattered at all. He's gonna go into Sneasel. He could have just knocked me out with the Ice Punch or the knockoff, if he wanted to do so, but apparently he doesn't. He just wants extra damage on his Sneasel. I decide to go into Flareon because he cannot do a whole lot to my Flareon. So I go for Sleep Talk again, and this is actually not a very... So I'm sorry that happened, but I had to interrupt the video because my housemates came back. So let's continue where we took off. And so I Flare Blitz this thing, and now I wake up, I predict that actually, and I click Flare Blitz, but since I'm not statused anymore, I do not get the Guts boost, and it ends up living. So, a bit unfortunate, but now I can go into Behem, he Earthquakes, I know I can live any hit, and I go for Signal Beam. Maybe that he predicted the Psyshock and would have gone into Sneasel. Well, this was just my safest play. Now I can just fodder this thing, and basically I can start foddering things and click Retaliate with Slacking and then kill everything. So that's going to be very nice. I can go Retaliate on this thing. He decides to go Ice Shard and just fodder it. It didn't really matter what he foddered, but now he goes to Taurus, and I decide to just go into Tangela. And Tangela can probably beat this thing one-on-one. It actually ends up beating this thing one-on-one, but even if Taurus would have knocked out my Tangela, I could have easily gone into Slacking and kill it with a Choice Scarf. Retaliate. So that miss did not end up mattering. I would have lived regardless, and then I would have just knocked it off its item. But Giga Drain actually does 40%. If I would have known it would have done that much, then this game would have been a bit shorter. But this is me participating in my very first tournament and also winning my very first tournament. So really hope you enjoyed this episode as well. Hopefully I will see you in the near future. Subscribe if you want to see more, leave a like if you really enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later. Peace.